Imagine this. A teenager thrust into the unrelenting glare of the public eye, a single joke triggering an avalanche of debates about comedy, free speech, and decency. What started as a casual late-night quip turned into a cultural firestorm, and at its heart, a mother's unwavering resolve to protect her child. This is the untold story of how Melania Trump's bold stand for her son, Barron, shook the entertainment industry and left an indelible mark on the world. It was a regular evening in Burbank, California. The stage lights illuminated a familiar set where a late-night host, renowned for his biting wit and sharp political humor, was in his element. The audience laughed as he poked fun at the latest headlines and public figures. It was the kind of humor that blurred the lines between satire and provocation. But that night, something was different. The host shifted gears, directing his focus toward Barron Trump, the youngest son of the former First Lady and President. The joke landed sharp and cutting. While some members of the audience laughed hesitantly, others shifted in their seats, clearly uncomfortable. This wasn't just another punchline. It targeted a child, a teenager who had largely stayed out of the spotlight, and in an instant, it went from a casual joke to a lightning rod for controversy. Within hours, the clip spread like wildfire across social media. Hashtags like #Barron Trump and #Protect Barron began trending on Twitter and Instagram. Memes flooded timelines. Reactions poured in from all corners of the internet. Some users slammed the joke as cruel and unnecessary, calling it a low blow aimed at a child who never asked to be in the public eye. Others dismissed the outrage, claiming it was just comedy, and criticizing the so-called overreaction, but the division only amplified the storm. News outlets picked up the story with panel discussions dissecting every angle. Late-night hosts had long pushed boundaries in the name of satire, but this incident reignited a polarizing question. Where is the line between humor and harm? In Palm Beach, Florida, Melania Trump sat in disbelief as she watched the clip. Her maternal instincts immediately took over. For years, Melania had worked tirelessly to shield Barron from the chaos of public life. Despite being the son of one of the most polarizing figures in modern politics, Barron had remained largely private, and that was intentional. To Melania, this wasn't just a joke, it was a direct attack on her son's dignity. It was a mother's worst nightmare. She felt the sting of the insult not only as a public figure but as a parent who had tried so hard to protect her child. Melania knew she couldn't ignore this. She'd endured criticism herself over the years, but this was different. This was about Barron. Determined to take a stand, she made a bold decision. She would speak out. The following morning, Melania's team released a statement condemning the host's remarks. It was clear and stern, denouncing the joke as inappropriate and harmful. But for Melania, words weren't enough. Behind the scenes, she assembled a legal team led by one of the nation's top defamation attorneys. Together, they filed a lawsuit against the host and the network, alleging defamation and emotional distress. The move was unprecedented. It wasn't just about the joke, it was about sending a message that even public figures deserve basic respect. The news spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed about the lawsuit and pundits on cable news debated its implications. Was this a courageous stand against bullying disguised as humor, or was it an overreach that threatened free speech? As the lawsuit gained momentum, the country became deeply divided. Supporters of Melania praised her as a fierce mother defending her child. Social media was flooded with messages from parents who resonated with her fight. One viral post featured a photo of Barron during his father's time in office, accompanied by the caption, "Every child deserves to grow up free from ridicule. This isn't about politics, it's about decency." But critics pushed back hard. Comedians and free speech advocates rallied around the late-night host. On talk shows and podcasts, they argued that satire had always targeted public figures, and their families weren't exempt. "If you can't take a joke," one prominent host declared, "then maybe you shouldn't be in the public eye." The debate spilled out of the media and into everyday conversations. College campuses held debates about free speech and its limits. Families discussed the story over dinner tables. The joke had ignited a much larger cultural conversation. When the trial finally began, it was nothing short of a media spectacle. Cameras swarmed the courthouse as Melania Trump arrived, her expression calm but resolute. Inside, the courtroom buzzed with tension. The prosecution opened with a powerful argument. They played the clip of the joke, the audio echoing in the silent room. Melania's lawyer painted a vivid picture of the harm inflicted on Barron. a quiet, reserved teenager who had been unfairly dragged into the spotlight. "This isn't about free speech," the lawyer declared. "This is about protecting a child's right to privacy and dignity." The defense pushed back, arguing that the joke was protected under the First Amendment. They framed the lawsuit as an attack on comedy itself, warning that a ruling against the host could set a dangerous precedent. Just as the trial seemed to follow a predictable rhythm, a surprise witness took the stand, a former production assistant from the show. His testimony changed everything. The assistant revealed internal emails and communications that showed the joke wasn't spontaneous. It had been carefully planned and approved by higher-ups. One email from a network executive read, "This'll stir the pot. Controversy sells." The courtroom was stunned. The focus of the trial shifted from the host to the toxic culture within the network. The defense scrambled to recover, but the damage was done. After hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict. The host was found liable for defamation, and the network was ordered to pay significant damages. The judge emphasized that the ruling wasn't about stifling comedy, but about holding people accountable for crossing ethical lines. The fallout was swift. Sponsors abandoned the host, and his show went on indefinite hiatus. But the impact didn't stop there. The trial forced the entertainment industry to reevaluate its approach to humor and sensationalism. For Melania, the victory was bittersweet. She had stood up for her son and sparked a cultural reckoning, but the experience had been deeply draining. In a brief statement, she expressed hope that the case would remind society of the power and responsibility of words. The story of Melania and Barron Trump isn't just about a mother's fight for her child. It's a reminder that while we have the freedom to speak, we also have the responsibility to be kind. Humor can bring people together, but it can also cause harm. As a society, it's up to us to draw the line. Let's choose words that build bridges, not walls. And let's never forget the lesson this story taught us. Compassion must always come first. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories that challenge the way we see the world.